think the book is a foundational book. It's a book that you need that's going to address so many things in your life at the same time. I will not encourage you to rush through the book. I would say take your time, go through it slowly, and the way you're reading it, read it with some questions in mind so that it makes it that much intentional when you're reading the book and expecting answers to those questions. I read this book, An Enemy Called Average, and Apostle Joshua Selma actually recommended the book. I wanted to share some of it with you. So I got some of the things that he said, and I think you should check that out too. It's called An Enemy Called Average by John Mason. And Nugget 41 is sharing it's important to know what God can do as it is to know what He can do. It makes it clearer in your head. Like when thoughts come, it's really becoming easy by God's grace for me to be able to discern between, oh, is this God speaking or is this someone else speaking? And I wanted to just share that with you so that you have the same experience. So he gave 28 things on God's attributes. Number 1 is God cannot lie. 2, God cannot change. 3, God cannot recover our sins after we've asked for forgiveness. 4, God cannot be the author of confusion. 5, God cannot leave us or forsake us. 6, God cannot go back on His promises. 7, God cannot revoke His gifts. 8, God cannot be pleased without faith. 9, God cannot be defeated. 10, God cannot be too big for our problems. 11, God cannot be too little for our problems. 12, God cannot prefer one person to another. The next 13 is God cannot break His covenant. 14, God cannot revoke His calling. 15, God cannot be unjust. 16, God cannot do anything contrary to the scriptures. 17, God cannot bless a lie. So when I heard this word, I was like, God cannot bless a lie. So it makes you more conscious of the things you're saying, and it has really helped me not talk. So now I just become quiet over things that I don't want to talk about, instead of giving answers that are either a lie or not complete truths, because it's one of the same. They have the same coin, either not fully the truth or a lie. Still the same coin, guys. 18, God cannot love sin. 19, God cannot give anything to a double-minded man. 20, God cannot be forced into an impossible situation. 21, God cannot ignore the praises of His people. 22, God cannot be our problem. 23, God cannot be overcome by the word. 24, God cannot be late. 25, God cannot be neutral. 26, God cannot be weak. 27, God cannot bless doubt. And 28, which is the last thing he listed, God cannot withhold wisdom to those that ask Him. I read them. I really spent a lot of time on them. And one of the things that got to me was God cannot lie. Because when you read the word, if you're someone that reads the word, there are certain things you say, and sometimes you look so like not qualified for it. But when you hear things like God does not prefer one person to the other, it really gives you that confidence to ask God for some things. It gives you that confidence to speak more to Him. Please make sure you check out that book. An Enemy Called Average has really literally been a blessing. It's going to not just teach you more about who God is, but it's also going to give you some truths about how you cannot just leave it for only God to do. There are things you have to do, how to increase your value, how to some keys to getting wealth and dealing with your finances, getting out of debt. I think the book is a foundational book. It's a book that you need that's going to address so many things in your life at the same time. I will not encourage you to rush through the book. I would say take your time, go through it slowly, and the way you're reading it, read it with some questions in mind, so that it makes it that much intentional when you're reading the book and expecting answers to those questions. So let me know in the comment section an attribute of God that is very personal to you, something that you think is going to be able to help other people